Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Blanka Hood, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Dr. Blanka Kellermayer, the founder of Dr. Blanka Peaceful Parenting, who equips parents with neuroscience-based strategies to tackle kids' challenging behaviors, from poor listening to anxiety, ADHD, and autism. She focuses on three core pillars: parental self-regulation, deep connection through playfulness, and kind yet firm limits to foster calmer homes where children cooperate and thrive. Parents praise her patient coaching for pinpointing anxiety roots and easing symptoms, transforming overwhelmed family dynamics into harmony. With that being said, Blanka, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Thank you so much, Milan. It's great to be here. And thanks for
I'm
the
excited
intro.
to have you. Beautiful, beautiful. I was looking forward to the conversation. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to dive right into it. What I love to do at the beginning of every single episode is a bit of traveling back in time. So before you even had your own practice or company, what were you doing before? And then eventually, what was the motivation for starting the business?
Sure. So I'm a neuroscientist by training, and I used to be in academia, so in academic research, and then I transitioned into the biotech industry. And along that journey, I became a parent myself. So I was juggling work and parenting myself. And later on, we learned that my older son has ADHD, which explained many of the challenges that we were facing from early on. And so that led me into this rabbit hole of what do I do? How do I parent? How do I manage life and work? And what I found myself doing was a lot of the neuroscience that I knew about how the brain develops and what the brain needs was not very much aligned with all the parenting practices that I was hearing about and what naturally parents were told to be doing. So I came across peaceful parenting, which is a method developed by Dr. Laura Markham. And this method is very much in line with what neuroscience tells us and how the brain develops. And so then, yeah, then one thing led to the other, and I became certified as a peaceful parenting coach, and I left my biotech job and founded my company.
What a journey though. Like on one end, I always say, obviously I'm not happy about the fact that you had to go through those challenges yourself, but at the same time though, this is just making you one hell of a coach. You know, just coming from your own personal experience, that's just always like a different level of understanding that you have for your clients. So that's a good thing though. Now, Blanca, I'm pretty sure you, as anybody else in business entrepreneurship, as you go throughout the journey, there is a lot of pivoting and adjusting, getting some clarity in terms of who it is that I'm going to work with, who it is that I don't want to work with, all this kind of stuff. So going into this next part of the podcast, this is my goal to bring some clarity to the audience in terms of who is it exactly that you're trying to help right now, but also what are the core offerings that you have in place for your clients. So tell us all about it.
Sure. So I primarily work with busy parents who feel overwhelmed and stressed and just exhausted by managing everyday life and their kids' challenging behaviors. And what I do is I give them neuroscience-based strategies to help them gain more control over their lives and essentially get their kids to cooperate so that they can create a more harmonious home environment where everyone feels safe, seen, and heard. And then kids will naturally grow into kind and resilient adults if they're in such an environment. And then also the parents feel more relaxed and reassured in their own parenting and their own work life as well, because if they're in a home where they can relax and recharge, then obviously then they bring that into their workplace as well. So it's a
Mhm.
win-win. And the way I do this is the foundation of my work is through one-on-one coaching. So I have a structured program called the Family Harmony Roadmap, where I guide the parents through the depth of how they can understand their children's behavior through a different lens, so that instead of reacting to the challenges, they're responding. I guide them through self-regulation strategies. So I teach them how the nervous system reacts to stress and how we can recognize these triggers in our own lives so that we can bring more calm and regulation into ourselves. That will overflow into our children. And the program obviously combines neuroscience and peaceful parenting strategies. And the way it works is I start off with an initial values session with each parent where we identify their personal values and goals in their parenting journey, what they want to pass on to their children from their own upbringing, what they don't want to pass on, because obviously these at a subconscious level influence how we show up in our everyday parenting. And then after that's done, then I create their own personalized parenting plan, which is the basis of our work together for the next 3 to 6 months. So there is some flexibility. Obviously, parenting and life is busy. So because of that, I offer flexibility in terms of whether like they do want to do the sessions between 3 and 6 months.
Hmm.
So besides the coaching work, I also offer workshops in person or online. So I've done a series of workshops in schools. I've done in-person workshops at different venues. That's focusing on different areas. So my main focus is ADHD because of my own experience and with my own child. But then a lot of things tie into this, like emotional overwhelm, anxiety, and different topics, which really tie into exhaustion and overwhelm. And I'm also creating different digital resources. I do have like a short online course specifically on anxiety, and obviously as the needs come, then I'm really happy and to create more resources for parents as they need them.
Beautiful. So I would assume that a part of those digital resources is also just creating content on social media, which is free, of course, which is a nice way to not only get engaged with your audience and with all of those parents seeking the answers as if you were at one point, but also it gives people to a chance to basically work with you for free at the beginning, right? Now, like one of the things that I just discussed with another guest last week was the fact that like no matter what you do, how many offers you have, you're never going to be able to work with everybody who comes through the front door. Not everybody is in a position to, invest in a coach, have this kind of program. So one thing that I really want to clarify though, because there's a lot of people in your industry who work both with the kids and with the parents. So are you focused solely on the parents or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because it does matter. I primarily work with the parents, and
Mhm.
that's because um, the parents need to know what they need to do differently or whether they need to do something differently at all. And so I know, so the only other way I'd see this work is if the person works both with the parents and the child. I think I feel like I really want to help support the parents because if the parents are supported, then that will naturally overflow into the children who then won't need that extra support unless obviously we're talking about different neurodivergence or special needs that the parents are not fully equipped to do, if you understand, if you see what
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, Blanca, if you're open to this, I also want to talk about the back end side of the business and everything that's going on. Obviously, you already know this. This is a business podcast. So anything that is happening on the back end, whether that's marketing strategies, sales, operations, whatever the case might be, we want to talk about it. And also, we all know that in terms of succeeding with such a project, you really have to have like a good client acquisition system in place. So I'm curious, what is currently happening on the front of your marketing and maybe specifically generating those contacts and leads for yourself to make all of this even happen?
So you mentioned social media earlier, and yes, that is one of the avenues that I'm working on. I'm most active on LinkedIn. It's the platform I feel most comfortable with, and it's also where I've, because of my past career, let's say it that way, I had the most leverage, I guess. And I just love what I love about LinkedIn is that you can really build relationships, which I haven't found with other social media platforms. That being said, I'm fully aware of all like the Instagram video, like all the everything on Instagram about parenting, and I think for me, what I see a difference is that I really put the science behind it, which doesn't make it feel the best platform for me. In terms of client acquisition, I feel that the workshops, the online and the in-person workshops are really helpful because they get to feel me, to know me, to know what it is like to be working with me, and also because of something that I already offer them, I pass on some knowledge, then they know that I actually do know what I'm talking about. So it builds that relationship. So I'm really focused on building that relationship because if when we're talking about coaching work, it's really you have to gel with the person you're working with. Otherwise, it's not going to be transformative as you wish it were. Does that
Very
answer
true.
the question?
It does though. And I also wanted to build on top of this because as you were explaining your relationship towards social media in general and not really feeling the energy with Instagram and the type of people that use it, the type of content that you can see there, and with you focusing maybe mainly on LinkedIn, I just feel like whoever we are, we should be playing on our strengths, right? So I don't really see any problems with that. But also this begs the question though, like, are you in a process of really trying to, let's say, find your way towards Facebook, Instagram, or possibly other platforms? Or is your strategy to just mainly focus on LinkedIn, continue with doing that, and hopefully that's going to be enough in terms of creating that client acquisition model?
That's a good question. I think we always have these doubts in ourselves sometimes as business owners, and especially if like you're a solo entrepreneur, solopreneur. I guess you do tend to these thoughts tend to sneak in every now and then. And it's like, should I be on this platform? Would that bring more clients, or would that be easier to do? But as you mentioned, I want to be true to myself. And even though these thoughts do creep in every now and then, I try to like acknowledge them that yes, there could be ways that I could do it differently. I have to make it work for me. And one of the challenges that I'm facing is that I'm also in the same boat as my clients, that I still have young children. And as much as my clients need to hear this and need to have my guidance, I need to have my own guidance as well. So I can't do everything. So for now, I'm focusing on LinkedIn, and one of my goals for 2026 is to build my website in a better way that it serves itself. So so that I don't have to continuously provide content that, like on a social media platform, it's there for a few days and then who knows where it ends up. Whereas on a website, you have it more, it's there and then it's yours.
Absolutely. I'm loving the self-awareness here, though. But also, let me ask you this question. I'm very curious, though. Obviously, you've got a lot of stuff going on. You have your own small kids. Obviously, that's a full-time job in itself. You're running the business. But also, this industry, coaching for parents, in the past few years, it is really booming. Like, it is growing in size. It is growing in interest. So I'm very curious, like, when you really think about the scalability of this company and how big of a business you're trying to build here, obviously everybody has a different preference, but through your eyes, are you trying to build something big, or would you rather just keep it, smaller, maybe more sustainable, just keep continuing running it as a solopreneur, or maybe have a team, or like what is the general idea about the future of the company?
That's a very good question, especially at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Um, when we tend to, like focus on and think about like where am I heading? So in terms of growth, I feel like every parent needs this kind of support one way or another, whether that's through me or through a different parenting coach, that's another question. Parenting is hard, and it's one of the most legacy building things we do in our lives, because like we don't want to mess this up. No one wants to mess up their kids, and yet we unintentionally do it sometimes. And I think the most underrated support is that the most underrated thing is that parents do need this support. So the way I see the future is that I want to really get into company growth programs in terms of employee support. And so I, because especially for parents who are raising young children or neurodiverse children, often when they return home, it's not a stress-free environment where they can relax and recharge and then be their best at the work the following day. So if companies were to invest in this kind of employee well-being support schemes, then that would be beneficial uh, for the long run for their businesses as well. So supporting parents at home will increase their focus at work, the resilience, and also the retention at work. So this is one avenue that I really want to tackle this year. And in terms of whether I want to build my company in number and um, and scale in that way, I currently don't feel like I need to. Um, and I'm quite happy. I really enjoy doing all the little things. Obviously, it's hard to do it on my own, but with the help of AI and like everything, if you can utilize AI in a way that you can streamline certain things, that can really take a lot of pressure off and time. So yeah.
Absolutely. So when you think about the future, you can see yourself just having a best friend in the form of AI, just helping you with the day-to-day stuff instead of like creating your own internal teams and just having more responsibility over the company that way, right?
For now, yes. Also,
Yeah.
with talking to other people who have expanded, I know that adds an extra layer of stress with hiring the right people and then
Yeah.
training them. So with when you have such like a personalized vision and passion and mission, I think it's really hard to get people who are very much aligned with that in the sense that they want to see the company grow and not their personal growth with, which sounds nasty, I know, but what I mean, what I mean is that obviously everyone wants their own growth, um, and and which is understandable. So I think for now, I don't see expanding in that way.
No, you're right. I mean, if the company grows in size, obviously there is just much more complexity. There is much more stress, much more responsibility. So everybody has its, pros and cons. So I completely get it. Now, obviously, you gave us a huge sneak peek in terms of what it is that the company will look like in the future with you, basically mentioning that not only supporting the B2C sector where you work directly with individuals, but also treating it as real business to business, right? Where you can communicate with the organizations who are willing to invest into their employees, which is a beautiful thing. So, aside from this, though, like when you think about maybe the next 6 to 12 months, what else would you say are like the biggest targets, goals, revenue milestones that you have set for yourself?
So I want to get more in. So in terms of milestones, like getting more into schools is also a big goal. Because I've noticed that schools are a bit resistant on accepting external coaches,
Mhm.
parenting coaches into the school system. So so that's one. So I've successfully landed in one school and I've delivered a series of workshops there. And so doing that in multiple schools and it would be amazing. Also, like locally and also like UK wide or even other places. But I've heard this from many parenting coaches that this is such a big struggle. In terms of milestones, um, is like I really want to increase my newsletter signups. So obviously that's a work in progress. So if I could get by the end of the year up to increase the numbers on my list would be is one of the goals for the year. Running more in-person workshops, which are paid workshops in at different venues, is another goal for the year. And yeah, what else? Sorry, it's the
I
first
mean,
word
there
I'm
is a lot. I
turning
was
in.
just about to say there's already a lot happening here. So, is there really something that you want to add on top of that?
No, I think no, I was just thinking because I was, it's the first Monday of January and I was just back from holidays and yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We all went through the period of time now towards the end of the year, beginning of next year. Just everybody's thinking about goals. What's going to happen this year? What's going to happen this?
Yeah.
So I completely get it. Now, Blanka, obviously there is a lot of ambition here. There is a lot of goals that you have set for yourself. So I'm excited for the journey going forward. But you also strike me as a person who like loves to keep it real, not only with other people but also with yourself. So let me ask you this one last question. Thinking about the growth and what the company is going to look like in the future, out of everything, what would you expect to really become the biggest challenge to make that growth happen?
That's a tough question.
It
I
is.
like it. Well, I think for me personally, because as you mentioned, I do like to keep things real. That was a spot on observation. So I do tend to be hard on myself. So I think that's one of my biggest barriers, to be honest, that I do want to be the kind of parent that I'm teaching parents to be. And managing that while building the business is definitely a big challenge. So keeping myself as a top priority, like my own well-being. And I know we talk about we hear this so much these days from everywhere, but it's so true. And this is what I tell parents all the time that we need to, we're better versions of ourselves when we take care of ourselves. And then we're better parents. We have more patience, we have more bandwidth, we have more acceptance, and it's for the benefit of our kids. So yeah, I think that's my number one thing that I need to keep checking in on because I tend to get like, oh, I'll just do one more thing and that thing and that, and then I tend to like, you know, deprioritize my own well-being.
Yeah. Absolutely. Again, I love the self-awareness here, and I knew it was a good idea to ask you that question. So I'm glad I did. Well, Blanka, at this point, let me just say thank you so much for taking the time today, sharing this beautiful story with me and our audience here. I really appreciate your time. If anybody from the listeners would like to get in touch with you, connect, perhaps one day even work with you, what is the best way to go about it?
So I have my website, drblankapeacefulparenting.com, and there's contact information there. I'm also, as I mentioned, LinkedIn is my happy place. So you can find me on LinkedIn, just my name, Blanka Kellermayer, and I'm happy to share a little gift with the listeners if they'd like that. So I have a little guide on how to make the mornings easier because I know mornings can be very challenging for most people, especially those with little children. So I'm happy to share that, and then I'll send you the link.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you again. It was a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much, Milan.
Love it. Now to our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner, more specifically a consultant or a coach, or you have an agency and you're trying to scale the business and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closers.io, get in touch with our team, and discover how exactly we scaled our company from 0 to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on crushing it, and I'll see you on the next one.